Guys, recently I've noticed that there is no good castle tutorials out on the web, so instead I decided I would make one of my own. So first, you can open a castle app. Then you'll have a game that you start out on. And for this, or you can press Explore, where you can find games manually. You also have categories like games from people you follow, games from certain tags, games that you've liked or reacted to, and games you've played recently. Then there is the Create category, where you can create games. Then there is the Parties category, where you can create a party, essentially a group chat, with other users on Castle. Then there is the Profile, where you can get notifications or can view your own profile. But for right now, we're focusing on how to make a game. So, first you need to press the New Deck Game button. A deck is essentially a game, so consider it as such. Now, if you want to start out on something easy, like a template, then I recommend Racetrack. It's simple to understand. Let's look at the initial game. The game might be a bit slow on my device, but I'm sure it'll run just great on yours. Now, let's get to the art aspect. First, we can create a new actor. An actor is a part of the game. And this actor is empty blueprint. That's how you will get a blank one. You can press this pencil button on the General tab to open the Art category. From here, you have three mediums. You have Shapes, where you can draw shapes, sticks, or if you want to, free draw. You can also do that in different color. Another thing is, you can modify it. However you'd like to do that, of course. You can also modify points. Or use the given point grabber. Pointing. Then you can use a paint layer, which allows you to draw more exactly with pixels. What makes the shapes layer different from pixels is, with shapes, you will never be able to see a pixel. But with paint, pixels are easy to see. You can still modify them, but you have less modification abilities. You can size down, size up, and all the rotate and flips. You can also erase, or you can use the fill bucket. You can also take a drop of a color. Let's give it a nice green patch. Now we can take this color and we can replace that dark green with a nice light green. Now, there are conditions that you can set for the game, but those are up to you. and you can figure them out yourself. Now we have movement properties. You have to set motion to fixed or dynamic for it to be able to move. But if you set it to none, then you can still set it to be solid, bouncy, or friction. Now, before we get into coding, let's make this easier to figure out of a design. Let's make a nice green box. But for what code we're going to be putting in it, we will have to make a different color box. So select your color swap and select a darker shade of green. Think of it like Bob Ross painting over a little patch of green that's just a bit too light. And let's consider this as a flasher. Now, rules is the closest thing that we have to code. Script makes you type, as demonstrated, unfortunately. So instead, you can make rules, which are easier to manage. With rules, you can tell it a trigger, like when this collides with actor, when this is created, when this is destroyed. You can select a lot for a trigger, or you can search for a trigger. And the trigger I want to use is when this is created. That tells the actor that when the deck starts, it's going to do a action. Before we start coding though, let's get a little sample of code from something else. Maybe borrow it a little bit. Seems like a lot of code. Let me instead look at this nice little car. This is quite confusing. But that's what code is. So, give me a moment while I fetch. So, I believe that the time we need is 1.2 seconds. So, let's type that in. Logic. Wait before a response. Wait for 1.2. And then repeat every given second. Let's change that to 1.25 seconds. That is 1/4 of a second. Now, let's modify property. Let's go to current frame. By 1. But right now, this will only set the art frame to the first frame we made, that light green. We want it to flash. If you turn on relative to current value, that means I will continuously add onto the current value. And remember, if the current frame value is above the amount of frames that are in the actor, it will loop back to the first frame and will continue going forward. Meaning that if we just set relative to current value on, then we will have a nice flashing effect. So, hold on. Now, we can place down our flasher. Think of it like encouragement. It works. See, it encouraged me to go a little bit faster. Again. Of course, though, if you have too many actors in your game and it's getting slowed down, like mine is, then you can get rid of some of this complex stuff that you don't need. For example, you can get rid of these tires since you won't quite need them. To learn up on this, you can click on an actor on the deck set to view its properties as an individual. You can clone it. You can delete it. You can resize it. Let's retry that. You can resize it. You can move it up and down the layers. Or you can move it from front to back on the actor set. You can also modify the art frame from the game engine. But for right now, we just want to delete it. Now, hopefully it should run a bit faster. See, runs a lot faster now. 6.8 seconds. That really did help, didn't it? And that is Syntax Error's full complete tutorial on the game engine. For now, of course. Consider it a beginner course. Anywho, as always, I will see you in the next video that I probably won't post. See you all later, my fellow crumpled cretins.